Hey everybody, welcome back to BuQeye Barbecue. Today we're going to do our second installment of our pre-Thanksgiving holiday turkey cooks. We're going to spatchcock it and we're going to cook it on our pellet cooker. When you spatchcock a chicken or a turkey, you get a much more even cook. There's not a huge air cavity in the center to absorb a lot of the heat. And to me, it turns out better. It's also a cool presentation. A whole bird is cool too, but spatchcocking it I think is also cool. Okay, so here is our turkey. Pretty well thawed. There was still a little ice in the cavity, but I cleaned that out. The things I have done to prepare this turkey are just the following. I removed the plastic truss that was holding the drumsticks together, which I might have left on if we weren't going to spatchcock it. So when we spatchcock it, you're not able to have that. The other things I did were to remove the neck and the giblets, which usually come in a turkey. I've saved those. We'll use those later in this pre-Thanksgiving cook. And that's all I've done. Other than that, unwrapped it and patted it dry. So the things I'm going to do real quick before we get to spatchcocking is a lot of times there's loose skin and fat at either end of the turkey, as you can see here hopefully. In fact, that just came right off. I do have a knife here to make sure we get, because they'll just end up burning, especially spatchcocking. There's nothing to protect the loose pieces of skin like this. So you want to get rid of those, including this tail, but be careful not to go too far up. If you're not careful, you can do it too high, and you don't want to do that because the skin will end up protecting that meat under there. So there we go. And I'll look back here to see if there's anything else, and there really isn't. I guess one piece here that we'll get rid of. And while I've got my knife in hand, I'm going to go ahead and score around the drumsticks, the ends of the drumsticks. This will let that skin and meat pull up and shrink a little bit without ripping, at least in theory. We'll see. It usually works for me. But I'll just give them a score kind of around, almost like you're opening the top of a wine bottle, really. Okay, there we go. That should be okay. We'll see if that works. I've had it work and not work before on chickens and turkeys, but hopefully that will work. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to spatchcock. So I'm going to turn the turkey over. There we go. Pull out a piece of the neck there that I missed. And found another giblet, so we'll put that aside. Again, we're going to end up using those. Turn this around, and you need a good pair of kitchen shears. I also can tell you that if you go buy a pair of garden shears, they can work really well if you just use it for cooking as opposed to gardening. So I don't love these shears, to be honest with you. I thought I was getting a pretty nice pair, and as it turned out, they are not that great, but they'll work. So we just want to take our time and go right up the spine of the turkey. And you can do a chicken the same way. I think I've done a video already of a spatchcock chicken. And I think, again, it's a great way to cook a bird. So I'm going to shut up now and just get this done. It can be tedious, but totally possible. I don't love to do a knife here or a cleaver, although you can. I really don't like it because you have to put a lot of force on your knife or cleaver, and to me, accidents can happen that way. And this will take maybe 5 minutes with a little bit of tedious work, and you'll get it done. So now I really am going to shut up, and we'll speed you through this. And I'm just going to cut each side of the backbone and pull it out, and I'm going to save that. All right, now we're just going to go up the other side of the backbone, and like I said, completely pull it out. Okay, there we go. Surgery complete. A little bit of ice still left in here that I'm going to clean out. So that will leave a little more skin to trim up when you do that, so I'm going to take care of that. Okay, I'm going to pause right now, get this neck and the giblet that I found with the others, and get ready to get this bird dry brining. Okay, we've got that backbone and the extra giblet I found in with the others. I may have referred to that backbone as a neck bone in the last cut. If I did, I apologize. I meant backbone. Now we've got our turkey. We've got it flipped over on the breast side. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to take a big cleaver here. A chef's knife of some sort would work. Get off that little extra piece of fat. And we're going to go right down the center and just kind of split it from the top a little bit. It'll just give us a little easier time getting this thing spatchcocked. And I'm even gonna give it one of those. And we might be able to get it now, maybe not, we'll see. Yep, okay. So now we're just gonna turn it over on the one side, on the open side, and give it a press down. It's exactly what we're looking for. That's a good looking bird. Okay, so I'm going to get this cleaver out of here. We're going to turn this back over, splay it out, get rid of that extra piece. All right, here we go. So the first thing we're going to do, first thing we're going to do is I'm going to wash my hands and re-glove, because we're going to start seasoning, and I want to make sure we don't have any cross-contamination. So I will be right back with clean hands. Okay, so here we go. I've got a dirty hand prepped and a clean hand. So I'm going to just first grab some salt. So we're going to dry brine this turkey, and essentially what that means is give it a salt bath for a couple of days. The first turkey we did, if you saw that video, we wet brined it. And this we're going to dry brine. And what this is going to do is pull the moisture out of the meat, dissolve the salt, and then it will soak back into the meat, giving you a really juicy and seasoned bird. So I'm actually using Maldon salt flakes, which I don't know if you've used those before. I really love them. I don't use them all the time. I don't use them to salt everything. But they're a nice flaky salt, a great texture as far as I'm concerned. But you don't want to go too heavy with it, but this is a pretty big bird, so I'm not going light either. Gonna get the back side of those drumsticks there. We'll get the wings when we flip, which I'm going to do right now. And I'm actually going to move this bird out of the way. Wire rack under here, and that will let airflow get in around the bird, which will be crucial to dry that skin out, which is what we want. And so we can end up with some crispy skin instead of dark, rubbery skin. So again, this is going to draw the moisture out of the turkey. It'll mix and sort of dissolve the salt and get back into the turkey. So it will end up being nice and seasoned. And we're going to add some more seasoning to it as well, which we'll get to in a couple days when we get it ready for the cooker. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, I guess I'm going to dirty my clean hand, but I'm done with the salt, and tuck the wings underneath. That'll keep them close into the body, keep them from burning or just waving around wildly. So there we go. This thing is ready for a couple of days in the fridge. I will leave it uncovered, and it will sit in there on a low shelf and essentially self-marinate. And so we'll be back in a couple of days. See you then. Hey, it's turkey cooking day. One of the things I want to do is make a turkey stock. And I'm actually going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to use a chicken stock as a base, but we're going to add some stuff to it. So the first thing I want to do is roast off some vegetables, and I'll probably actually put these on the smoker at a low temperature for a while. and just let them absorb a little smoke. And then we'll crank up the heat. So I've got some carrots, some onions. We'll crank up the heat and then get a good roasting flavor on them, and then use them in our stock. So I've got some celery, and I'll go ahead and cut these one more time. And I've got a head of garlic here. Clean off a little bit of the paper. And got some leftover here that I'm going to use for something else. Those won't go on the smoker very easily, but there's always something to do with garlic. And by the way, I'm putting some of these vegetables kind of facing up that I just cut in half, like the garlic and the onion. I'm going to use a little bit of neutral oil. This is avocado oil. I want to have something with a little higher smoke point too. Not that we're going to go that hot, but at the end I'm probably going to crank this up to 375 or 400. So a good neutral oil will help. And the last thing I'm going to do is add our turkey parts. So the backbone that we cut out, the neck that came in it, and then the giblets as well. I'm going to put those in. And be careful with my dirty hand here, and add a little oil to those as well. So we're going to get these on the Weber smoke fire and get them smoking. So we'll bring you out there. So it's a crisp morning this morning in the BuQeye State. It's probably 35 degrees. There was ice on the roof this morning. I'm sure it won't last, but it may actually snow tonight a little bit. But we're still cooking. So we're gonna add our turkey pieces and our veggies to the smoker. Smoker is running just over 200 right now. I've got it set on 200. Again, we're gonna start just trying to get some smoke on these pieces. And then we'll up the heat from there. So I'm guessing these will be on a couple hours like this. And part of that's because I have to run an errand in an hour, so we'll trust the smoke fire to do its thing, which, if you've seen my smoke fire review video, is could be a little dangerous, but we'll make it work. There we go. Oh, by the way, the other thing I did, I forgot to do it on camera, is I added some salt and pepper to these. So I did that before I brought them out here. So we'll let these go. I'm using a new kind of pellet to me called Naughty Wood is the brand. I've heard great things about them. I have cooked on them once and they did great. And this happens to be pecan flavor. So real mild smoke flavor. And they did really well, so I'm excited to use them today for this turkey cook. So we will bring you back probably in a couple hours. Okay, these veggies and turkey parts have been on for an hour and 20 minutes right now. So I'm going to flip the turkey parts, and I am going to crank up the heat on this smoke fire to 400 degrees and leave them on for probably another 15 to 30 minutes, and then we'll pull them off. So we will bring you inside for our stock making shortly. It is just not a day here in my neighborhood if a neighbor doesn't have a giant blower out blowing leaves. So we'll get through it. Okay, these have been on just over 20 minutes, 23 minutes, something like that, on the high temperature around 400 degrees. So I think we're going to end up taking them off. They're looking great. Yeah, I'm definitely happy with these. So we're going to take them off and we will see you inside to get our stock going. Okay, let's get our stock going here. So I've got all the stuff in from the smoker. I did cut up the carrots and celery, so you don't necessarily have to, but I wanted to. My turkey backbone isn't going to fit in this pot all that well, but it'll be all right. So I'm going to drop all the turkey parts in. We'll get the onion in. By the way, if you don't have the most beautiful vegetables in the world, maybe your onion's getting a little bit older, don't worry about it. Throw it in. Who cares? It'll be fine. At least that's my plan. And we'll get our vegetables in. By the way, I did have one box of chicken broth already in here. It's a 32-ounce container. And then I have got some water in the container as well now, so I'm just going to pour that over top. I just didn't want a lot of splashing, so plus I wasn't quite sure how much water we would need based on the pot size and the turkey and vegetables. I think this is going to be good though. So a 32-ounce can of chicken broth or a box of chicken broth and another 32 ounces of water. I might end up adding just a little more water to this just to get to the top of the pan. And now we're just going to light this burner and let it come up to a boil. Okay, so this is at a pretty nice rolling boil here, so I'm going to turn this down and just keep it simmering and let it reduce. That should be good. And in a little while, maybe an hour or so, we will add some more things to this stock. So we will bring you back. Okay, our stock is still working. One thing I want to prep in advance is we're going to do a compound butter. So I've got a couple of sticks of softened butter here, and I'm going to add a little sage to that I've chopped up. That's fresh sage, a little fresh thyme that I've chopped up. I'm going to do a pinch of black pepper. And I'm going to do Meat Church Honey Hog Rub, just to add a little sweetness and flavor to this. I'm not doing a lot because I want to be really careful with my salt content since we did dry brine the turkey for the last couple of days. So we're just going to add, that might be a teaspoon, maybe a little bit more, but not much. And then we're going to take a fork and we're just going to mix this around. I think that's pretty good. So this will be ready to go. We're going to use this for a couple of different things before we're done today. So it's all ready to go for when we need it. Okay, so we've let this reduce by probably a little more than half. So I'm going to take the turkey parts out and some of the bigger vegetables. I think this onion's given about all it can give. And I'm going to end up straining this, so this doesn't have to be perfect. And when the turkey spine breaks in half, you know that it's given all it can give too. Alright, that's probably good enough for now. Again, I'm going to strain this, so I'm not worried about getting every last little thing here. And for the last little bit of reducing, I'm going to add some sage, some thyme, a little umami powder, black pepper, and peppercorns. And just let that continue to reduce for just a few minutes, maybe 15 to 30, and then we will strain this and we'll have our turkey stock. So we'll bring you back. Okay, so this has been going, I don't know, 20 minutes or so. I did taste the stock. It's really, really good. So I'm going to turn off the heat, and I've got this bowl here with this strainer, and I'm just going to pour the stock through that so anything large will be caught up in the strainer, like pieces of celery and herbs and whatnot. There we go. So we'll let this sit here for a minute and let all of that stock keep dripping down. So we'll use this stock later today for a stuffing we're going to do. We will also use it for gravy. So, gosh, how did I forget gravy? I was 15 before I knew gravy wasn't a beverage. Okay, thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back and we'll get a turkey going shortly. Okay, so this bird has been dry brining for a couple of days. You can probably see how much different it looks. The skin is definitely dry. The only thing I've done with it is I put some herb butter that we made earlier on the underside, and I've also separated the skin a little bit from the breast, which is where I'm going to add more of this butter. So we're just going to put some under there, spread it around. Doesn't have to be perfect. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Just get some under there. It'll melt and coat just fine. And then we're going to take more and put it all over the outside. And if you're thinking that's way too much butter for this turkey, then you're probably on the wrong channel. I am now going to remove my gloves so we can do one more thing. Or at least one glove. So we're going to inject this bird with a little bit of this Tony Chachere's. I've had this, but it's been a long time. But this is the Cajun version. So we're going to do a little injecting. So I shook it up, and I'm going to pour this in a cup just so I can get the injector down further before it runs dry. So I'm not going to go crazy with this because with the salt we used in the dry brine, I don't want it to be too salty, but I do want to get some of this down there for flavor and for moisture. So we're definitely going to do the breast 3 or 4 places. And it'll run out, and that's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. And we'll get a little bit in the thigh. Again, my favorite part of any poultry is the thigh. And we'll get a little bit in the drumstick as well. Okay, so this is going to end up being 2 injector fulls, and I'm going to stop at that point. May as well get a little bit in the wing too. So I'll just grab a little more to finish off the other wing, and then we'll be done. Last of this. There we go. That's all we're going to do. This turkey will be flavorful even though we didn't use the whole bottle. And so we will get this turkey out to the smoke fire. I do have the smoke fire set on 275. I want to cook it around 300, but the smoke fire tends to run a little bit hot sometimes, so I don't want to shoot over that temperature. So we're going to start it out at 275 and see how it's doing and just monitor it. So we will see you out at the cooker. All right, the cooker is up to temperature, so we're going to get this turkey on. We are running it says 300 degrees. I actually think it's a little less than that because I have a second probe in addition to the main ambient temperature probe in the cooker, but it will come up, I'm sure. So let's get this turkey on, and we're going to put it on with the breast towards the center. So we're going to put it on the left side of the cooker, with the breast towards the center, because the hottest part of the cooker is near the center. So we'll have the heat come up and go over this way. Now I could change this if I notice something is getting a little more done than I would like it to. I can always turn it, no problem at all. The next thing I'm going to do is grab the meat probe, and we're going to get that in the deepest part of the breast and be sure we're not in any bone or near any bone. So that should be good. It's running less than 40 degrees, which makes sense because it's only been out of the refrigerator for 20 minutes or so. So we will let this thing start to do its thing. And we'll bring you back now and again to take a look, and pretty soon we're gonna get on our stuffing. So we'll see you soon. Okay, so it's been maybe 45 minutes, maybe not even that much, but we're gonna make some stuffing with some sausage as part of this cook. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that on the smoker. So turkey, nothing special to look at yet. I do see some color that I like. The butter is rendering nicely. So we're just gonna put the pan of sausage in there. By the way, I added a dollop of our herb butter that we made, just to add a little more of our flavor profile that we're using. So I'm just going to let that start to cook and really just leave it be for a while. Alright, so we'll bring you back soon. Okay, so our sausage is on the smoker for our stuffing. I've got some other stuffing ingredients ready to go here. We've got half an onion, white onion, chopped up. Use whatever kind of onion you like. With a little bit of garlic paste as well, which you may not be able to see. I've got 2 celery stalks along with some thyme. Probably about 1.5 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons at the most. And then I've got 3 or 4 sage leaves chopped up. Next thing I have is about 2.5 cups of our turkey stock that we made. Gosh, brain fart. I'm gonna crack 2 eggs into that. One, 2. And the other thing I'm gonna add to that is some parsley, which I forgot to get out. I don't have any fresh parsley, unfortunately. Forgot to get it. So we're going to use dried, which will mean I don't want to use quite as much. But parsley is pretty forgiving if you over season. I want a pretty good amount in here. There we go. And now I'm just going to whisk this together. And this is going to be the moisture we add to our stuffing. We may not end up using it all, we'll see, but I want to have enough. Might have been able to get away with just 2 cups of our stock. But, there we go. Okay, I'll probably give that another mixing before we actually combine our ingredients. But for now, we are ready. We'll see you out at the cooker for checking on the turkey. So, given the fact that it's as cold as it has been here yet this year in the BuQeye state, I thought I would do a beer review of Sam Adams Winter Lager. Might even get a little snow tonight, which pains me to say. But the BuQeyes are up 21-7 over the Giant Killers Purdue, so could be worse. Leave me a comment about who you're rooting for in the college game. As long as it's not Alabama, we can be friends. So, or Michigan for that matter. But let's try this Sam Adams Winter Lager. So it's got a very small hint of citrus. It is not bitter at all. It's really smooth. It's very good, actually. It is certainly not light. You would never compare this to a light beer of any kind, but it's very tasty. I think it will be a great beer for a Thanksgiving / turkey dinner. So if you haven't had Sam Adams Winter Lager, and by the way, I'm not a giant Sam Adams fan as a general rule. It's okay. I can certainly drink it, but it's not my favorite. But this is actually pretty good. Samuel Adams Winter Lager. So give it a try sometime. We will see you next time on BuQeye Barbecue. I guess we'll be back to finish our turkey too. Okay, so we're gonna check on our sausage and our turkey. See how we're doing. It has been an hour and 7 minutes since we put the turkey on. A little less time for the sausage. Turkey is, I love the color it's getting. It's looking good. So sausage is coming along exactly as expected. Probably not far from being done. So we'll come back out in just a second. We're gonna add our vegetables to it that we just cut and let those start getting married together a little bit. So we'll see you shortly. Okay, here we go. We've got our half an onion diced up. We've got some garlic paste on the onion. We've got 2 stalks of celery with some thyme and 3 or 4 sage leaves chopped up. So we're gonna get that in with our sausage. Let those flavors start coming together while the sausage finishes cooking. And it's not far from being done. I'm not super worried about it burning or anything. We don't have the cooker that hot. All right. And so we'll just, oops, lost a celery piece. So we'll just mix that around a little bit. That is good for now. We'll probably leave the sausage on maybe another 10 or 15 minutes and then we'll pull it off. Still really happy with the turkey. It's looking good. I might spin it around sometime before too long, but I'm not in any huge hurry. So we'll bring it back. Okay, I think it's probably time to take the sausage off the cooker with the vegetables. It's been on there maybe 20-25 minutes. So I'll check to make sure, but yeah, this is ready to come off. Sausage is definitely done. Vegetables are soft. I don't want them to caramelize or anything like that. So we're gonna take this off and go inside and put our stuffing together in a few minutes. So we will see you shortly. Okay, so we're gonna get our stuffing put together here. So I've got 2 24-ounce bags of cubes. So I think it's Pepperidge Farm or something, I don't even know. Ready to go in this bowl. And I'm trying to get my rubber gloves on because I'm gonna do this by hand. So we're going to just add our sausage, herb, and vegetable mixture here. And I did drain this sausage with a slotted spoon when I removed it from the pan. There's still going to be a little fat, but that's all good. It'll taste good. But I did drain the bulk of it off. There we go. And now we're going to pour part of our egg, parsley, and stock mixture into this. I'm going to do maybe about half of it, something like that. And then there's only one way to do this, with your hands. That is looking good. Definitely need more liquid. So we'll add more of our mixture. Not quite all of it, probably. Okay. And now I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of it. Okay, I think that's pretty good. So I'm gonna take one of these gloves off and move this bowl out of the way. And I've got a large cast iron pan here that we're going to, so I'm taking some of our herb butter we made that we've been using, and I'm coating the sides and bottom of this pan. Now we're gonna put our stuffing mixture in. This is about the perfect size pan for this. And we're gonna be eating stuffing now for a few days. Okay, so the last thing I'm gonna do is cover that with foil. So I'll do that on my own. You don't need to watch me do that. And then we're gonna get it out to the smoker. So I will see you out there. Okay, we're gonna check on this turkey real quick, and I'm probably gonna turn it. So I think I'm going to remove my ambient thermometer or probe. We'll do something else with that. And just gently flip this around. And I might actually, sorry if I'm getting in the way of the camera, run that probe out that way. And I'm just doing this because I want to have an even cook. I know this cooker has hot spots. I'm just used to it. By the way, this skin looks spectacular. So there we go. And I do have cotton liners under these rubber gloves, so or that would have burned the crap out of me. So that's the way we're going to have her now. So we still got a little ways to go, so we'll keep you posted. Okay, so we've got our stuffing. I've got it covered in foil, and we just want to keep it moist. It'll dry out in here while it's cooking if you don't keep it covered. We will pull that foil off at the end to maybe get it to crisp up a little bit on top, but we are looking good. Okay, we're gonna turn this turkey, I think. I think the backside is getting nice, and the skin looks great here. Super happy with that. I am going to probe this real fast just to see where we are. Now we are at 139 in that breast and 141 in this one. So I actually love where this turkey is right now. I feel really good about it. Hopefully the flavor's good. I think the cook is good, so we'll see. There we go. By the way, I know the thigh and the leg is a little warmer than the breast, so that's why I only temp the breast. I checked that earlier, and it's running about 8 or 10 degrees warmer, which I would expect. And the thigh and the leg can take it, so I'm not even worried about that at all. So I think we're doing pretty good right now. We'll bring you back. We're about 10 degrees away from pulling this bird off. I love the color it's getting. I do want to protect it in the last part of the cook a little bit, so I'm going to use a little duck fat spray. Not too much. Don't want to make the skin soggy, but that'll help it crisp up as well and protect it from getting too dark. But it's looking great as far as I'm concerned, so I hope you can see it pretty well. But we'll probably be taking it off, I'm guessing, in the next 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, I was on to that second Sam Adams beer, and I forgot to film taking the turkey off. So the breast was right at around 163 with carryover. It'll certainly get to the 165. The thigh and the legs were about 10 degrees warmer, which is great. My one son decided it was time to hit the sink, and he says sorry. but turkey looks great, so we're gonna let it rest. We're gonna do our gravy. I also took the aluminum foil off of the stuffing and it is still on the smoker. We want it to crisp up on the top a little bit, so hopefully it will do that, and we'll bring you back. Okay, so we've got a stick of butter, half a cup of butter is what that works out to, in our pan here. Just cooking off some of the water in the butter. We don't want it to brown though. By the way, this is for the gravy. You do you on gravy, but this is the way I'm doing it. We're gonna dump now a half a cup of flour into the butter, stir it a little bit, and just add it slowly. So it's equal parts fat to flour. And we're gonna cook this until it gets to the color we want, which is gonna be a light brown. And we definitely wanna cook it long enough to get that raw flour taste out of it. And then we're gonna end up using our turkey stock that we made earlier. And that'll make a nice gravy. Okay, so we have this kind of the color we want, a little nutty color. And now we're just gonna start adding our turkey stock we made earlier. I'm just gonna add a little bit and then I'm gonna stir it. I'll end up adding all of that for sure. And you've probably heard this before, but this will come to its full thickness when it comes to a boil, and it's actually already thickening with just that little bit we added. So we'll go ahead and add more. Got to stir it slowly or you'll make a mess, which I have done before for sure. And as soon as that gets incorporated a little bit, we will add the rest. Okay. All right. So we'll get that stirred and incorporated together. I do have some leftover chicken stock. If I need it to be a little thinner, I'll just add that. Otherwise, now it's just about getting it to come to a boil to determine its thickness, tasting it to make sure it doesn't need anything like salt and pepper, and then it will be ready to go. So we will get this ready for our turkey and stuffing and potatoes. Okay, so we took our turkey off and I forgot to film it, so sorry about that. We did take the foil off of the stuffing pan, so we're gonna let that brown up a little bit. We're running about 325 inside the cooker. I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit, probably another 15 to 30 minutes while the turkey is resting, and we'll pull this off. We'll bring you back. Okay, so I think our stuffing is probably ready to come off. So let's just take a look. Yep, I like the way it's darkening up there. Top is feeling a little crispy in places, which is what I wanted. I think the bottom will definitely be crispy. So we're gonna pull that off and get it inside. I forgot a glove to do so, and since I don't have asbestos hands, I think I will get a glove. But we're gonna go ahead and take it inside and we'll see you when we come back. Okay, so we're gonna get this turkey cut, which I admit is not my strong suit, so we'll take a drink of beer first. So the turkey's been resting for maybe 20 minutes or so, something like that. We're just gonna, nice thing about spatchcocking it is you can actually then just split it right in half reasonably easily. Reasonably easily, I said. Okay, so there we go, got it split in half. I'm gonna move one half off and just work with so hope you can see that. Perfect leg quarter. The skin is pretty crispy and nice. Wings, I think the easiest way is really just to break them off. So there's another one. And for the breast, Everybody slices the turkey breast like this, and that's cutting with the grain, and it's not the way to get your most tender breast meat. So there we go. That didn't do too bad. We can pull some of that off. I see turkey salad in my future, which is not a bad thing. So we'll discard that rib cage and come back and just start slicing our turkey against the grain. Try to keep that skin intact. Tell you what, this is a moist turkey. That's a good thing. I actually promised myself I wouldn't use the word moist because people hate it, but oh well. Oh, I just tasted that skin. That's freaking good. I'm going to move some of these out of the way real fast. So you can kind of find the line where the thigh and the leg meet. And if you can find that joint, sometimes you got to split it apart, but if you can find that joint, there you go. So there's our turkey leg and our turkey thigh. So I'm going to swap these with our other half of the turkey and break that down real quick, and I will come back when this turkey's totally broken down. All right, well, we've come to the end here. Very last thing I'm going to do is take some of our herb butter, the last of it, drizzle it over the turkey. This is going to be a lot of turkey for us to eat tonight, but I think it'll be good. Matter of fact, I tried it. It is very good. So I feel like I should try this on camera. This has been a long video, so let's do that real quick and then we'll be done. Alright, the BuQeyes are up big today, so that's a good thing. Turkey's done, dressing's done, gravy is done. I appreciate you sticking with me for this long cook. I'm going to try a couple of pieces here. I think that's a piece of breast meat with the skin. Good flavor. The injection makes that. That Creole injection is so good. And the herb butter on top. That is better than your grandma's turkey, I promise you that. So give this a shot. It wasn't too bad, took a couple of days, but not hard to do. So thanks for joining at BuQeye Barbecue. If you get a second, like this video and subscribe to the channel, I'd appreciate it. Thanks a lot.